Hi and welcome to another video here on my channel Morbid History. I don't know if you can tell, but my throat, my voice might sound a bit weird because I've had a very... I'm coughing and I have a sore throat, but I really wanted to record something and I hope you enjoy it anyway. Before we get into it, thank you all for watching. Don't forget to comment, like and subscribe. I'm trying to get to 500 subscribers, so if you want to share my videos with like-minded people, or just help the algorithm by doing a like and subscribing and a little comment. I reply to all comments. I just love them so much. Yeah, today we're gonna get into a true crime case from Sweden, and it's actually from December 17th, 1915. So yeah, let's get straight into it. It's the murder of Elin Viklund. It was an extremely cold afternoon in a place in the middle of Sweden called Dalarna. The time was 1630, and in Sweden by this time in the middle of winter it's already pitch dark outside. 21-year-old Elin was heading out into the dense forest to walk a few kilometers into the post office in town to pick up the family's mail. Her father made sure that she was properly dressed and hugged her goodbye. He had no idea that this would be the last time that he ever saw his daughter alive. Elin walked straight into the snow-covered and thick forest. She wasn't the least bit scared because she had walked this path many times before. She was very acquainted with the whole neighborhood. It was a clear sky and the stars would light up the forest somewhat. At around the same time, the town doctor was heading off with his horse and carriage from the opposite side, from the town into where Elin lived. He was hurrying off to see a patient. When he reached a bridge, he noticed that there was a young man standing with his back turned towards him. The man made no effort to turn around and say hi or anything. He just stood there and stared down into the water. The doctor found this pretty weird, but he kept on going because he was in quite a hurry. This would be important later on. The next day, Elin's father had started to become concerned because Elin had not returned. At first he just thought that she had slept over at a neighbor's house, which she would do if the weather was too bad. But when the clock became around lunchtime and even dinner time, he started to get very, very worried. This was not anything usual from Elin. So the family sent off Elin's little brother Elis, who hitched a ride with a horse and carriage that was going into town. When they reached the bridge, Elis screamed out because he saw straight into the forest and noticed a piece of clothing that looked like his sister's. He jumped off the carriage and went straight in. There was very thick snow by this point, and there was blood spattered around. When he reached the clothing, he soon realized that it was indeed his sister Elin, lying there, lifeless. She was very disheveled and her clothing in disarray. Her fur hat was lying next to her, and even her bloody handkerchief. Elis now had to walk all the way home with the sad news that he had found the sister. The police was promptly called and an accident was quickly ruled out. Elin knew the environment too well and she was properly dressed for the weather. An examination of her body and a police report pointed to a murder. The likely events were that she had been hit in the back of her head with something it was a blunt force trauma, like a stone or a large piece of wood, and then she had been dragged into the forest where she had been SA'd, I'm not gonna say the word, and then strangled and left there, out in this big pile of snow. It was also shown that she was 3 months pregnant. Now the hunt for the culprit began. Some backstory on our victim Elin. From all accounts, she was a very liked girl and she was very pretty. She had worked as a doctor's assistant and her family just loved her to bits. It was also known that she had a fiancé, the probable father of her unborn child, and his name was Carl. They were supposed to be married just a few weeks before the murder. During the investigation, the doctor who had ridden the horse and carriage over the bridge and seen the mysterious young man told that he looked around 20 and matched the body type of Elin's fiancé, Carl. He also said that when he was on his way back from his appointment, his horse was acting very strange when trying to cross the bridge. But these were all the evidence there was pointing at Carl being the culprit. And the investigation kinda stalled. As you can tell, in 1915, they didn't have much to go on. There was no DNA, there was no, of course, a fingerprints. She was left out during the night in 40 minus Celsius. There was not much they actually could do, even if they had someone as a suspect. Carl played the part of a bereaved fiancé excellently during the funeral and everything. It was though soon discovered that he had actually planned to marry another girl, which he took on a boat and left Sweden for America to start a new life. So we could say that Elin never got any justice. Carl lived until 1940 and there's some accounts that his living relatives say that he confessed on his deathbed to murdering Elin and his unborn child. So we could say mystery solved, but zero justice. So, what do you think? I find it quite obvious that it was the fiancé. I'm just sad that there wasn't any proper way to get him convicted back in these days, because that's a terrible freaking thing to do. Anyway, if you have any comments on this case, just let me know down below. What did you think? And as I said, thanks so much for watching. I do try my very, very best to make the videos interesting. And with my lack of focus, I do try my very, very best to make them coherent and interesting, even if it doesn't like always work. I'm gonna get some ADHD medicine soon, and I hope that will help me to keep the thread a bit more. But yeah, thanks to all my subscribers, and thanks to my patrons. You are the best. Thanks to you, I'm able to use my editing software. I'm able to buy subscriptions for stock images. I'm able to buy all the cool effects I use. Thank you, patrons. Like, really, you make this incredibly important part of my life so much easier. So I'm gonna list you here next to my sleeping cat. Thank you. Kisses to all of you, all 6 of you now actually. Thank you. And kisses to all of you who watched. And I hope to see you on my next video.